You don't stay quiet because you have nothing to say. You stay quiet because speaking has consequences, and somewhere along the way, you became very aware of them. Most people think observation is passive. It isn't. Not for you. The second you walk into a room, your brain starts collecting information. You notice who interrupts people. You notice who laughs too hard at the boss's jokes. You notice when someone says, "I'm fine," while their jaw tightens for half a second. Someone's tone shifts slightly, and you catch it immediately. Someone becomes colder after being embarrassed, and you feel the mood change before anyone else reacts. And the strange part is, you usually don't even try to do this. It happens automatically. People call you observant, a good listener, calm, mature. But internally, it doesn't feel calm at all. Because while everyone else is simply participating in conversations, part of your mind is busy monitoring them. You replay interactions after they end. You think about whether you talked too much, whether your joke landed wrong, whether that pause in their response meant something. You tell yourself you're just thinking, but most of the time, you're trying to predict problems before they happen. That's an important difference, because I don't think people like this are always quiet out of introversion. A lot of the time, they're quiet because observation feels safer than exposure. And once you really see that pattern, a lot of your behavior starts making more sense. You let other people talk first, not because you're disengaged, but because you're assessing them. You want to know what kind of person they are before you reveal anything real about yourself. You watch how they react to disagreement. You notice whether they gossip the second someone leaves the room. You pay attention to who subtly humiliates people for being vulnerable. You're looking for information. The problem is, eventually, you stop participating naturally because too much of your attention is spent studying the interaction instead of being inside it. And that creates a strange contradiction. You probably want deep connection more than most people do. Real conversations, real honesty, real trust. But at the same time, you've built habits that prevent people from fully reaching you. Because being deeply seen feels risky. Not dramatic, not life-threatening, just risky in a way your nervous system takes very seriously. For some people, this starts early, especially in environments where emotional reactions were unpredictable. You learn quickly that paying attention keeps you safe. You learn to notice mood shifts before conflict starts. You learn that certain versions of yourself are accepted, while others create tension, embarrassment, criticism, or rejection. So instead of becoming emotionally expressive, you become emotionally precise. You develop what psychologists sometimes call hypervigilance. Not in the exaggerated movie sense, more in the sense that your brain becomes unusually sensitive to social and emotional cues. Research on rejection sensitivity and social threat processing shows that some people begin treating small interpersonal signals as highly important information. A delayed response, a shift in tone, a subtle facial reaction. Your brain tags it all as meaningful. And once that happens, relaxing around people becomes difficult. Because now every interaction feels like something that needs to be managed correctly. Watch what happens when attention suddenly turns toward you in a group conversation. You were fine observing 5 seconds ago, but now your brain starts calculating. How honest should I be? Was that answer too much? Too emotional? Too boring? Too weird? You filter yourself in real time while simultaneously trying to read everyone else's reactions to the filtered version. That's exhausting. And over time, this habit becomes so normal that you stop questioning it. You start calling yourself analytical, reserved, independent, maybe even better at reading people than others. But I think sometimes that identity becomes a hiding place. Because if you're constantly studying everyone else, you never have to fully risk being studied yourself. That's the part people usually avoid looking at. Observation can become a form of control. If you understand everyone else first, you reduce uncertainty. You reduce surprise. You reduce the chances of getting blindsided emotionally. But the cost is that you slowly become more connected to analyzing people than actually being known by them. And people feel that distance, even if they can't explain it. They may genuinely like you, respect you, enjoy talking to you, but there's still a sense that something is held back, like they're interacting with a carefully managed version of you instead of the unfiltered one. Not because you're fake, because somewhere underneath all this observation is the belief that visibility comes with consequences. So you become emotionally careful. Careful with what you reveal. Careful with what you admit. Careful with what people can use against you later. And honestly, that strategy probably protected you at some point. But protection and connection are not the same thing. You can spend years becoming exceptionally skilled at reading rooms while quietly feeling invisible inside them. You can understand everyone around you while feeling like nobody fully understands you back. Not because people never tried, because you became very good at giving them only the parts that felt safe to show. So, the next time you catch yourself silently analyzing everyone around you, ask yourself something honestly. Are you observing because you're genuinely interested in people? Or because part of you still believes it's safer to study human behavior than to fully participate in it? Because at some point, constant observation stops being awareness and starts becoming avoidance. And if this felt uncomfortably familiar, you're probably not as hard to read as you think. Subscribe. We're going deeper into the patterns people usually avoid looking at.